Andy, an away trip tomorrow, Maidenhead United. How's preparations been?
Yeah, really good. Obviously, positive after the result on Tuesday. One that we needed. Even though we're sort of top 5 of the form league in terms of the last 8 or 9 games, which is good. I think obviously because we had that little blip in terms of the cup games in the previous 2 games, it just felt probably worse than what it was. So it was a big result for us on Tuesday. No coincidence that we get 4 or 5 players back from injury, that we get a result. So hopefully they can stay fit and we can go on get a bit more consistency about our sort of squad selections and a bit more consistency in our kind of performances. When you're changing 3 or 4 or 5 players every game, you kind of lack that consistency, whether that's top end of the pitch where we're struggling in the early part of the season, and then obviously the back end of the pitch now where we've struggled a little bit recently. So hopefully, when them 4 or 5 back, and even the 1 or 2 that are injured at the moment aren't far away now, your Tunnies and your Labs, and so we're starting to get our squad back together, which is great. So, and I think that just gives everyone a lift as well. So it's been a positive week on that front, obviously at the back of a good result on Tuesday.
And how important is it that we use that result to build confidence going into the festive period where there's a lot of action and a lot of important points to be won?
Yeah, absolutely. We've been in these kind of situations before all season where we've come off a good result and we want to try and back that up, and we've just lacked that consistency, whether running like a string of games together where we pick points up, and performances more than anything. If our performances are good, more than likely we're gonna pick points up. So it's really important these next 5-6 games over the festive period that big for us, and we've got to try and get that consistency, whether that's at home, whether that's away from home. Even though it's a tough game tomorrow, they took 6 points off us last season, tough place to go. But we've got to start picking up points, and we started that on Tuesday. Now we've got to try and find that consistency and put a run of results together.
And I was just going to mention that it's an opportunity for a first league double of the season as well. How difficult will it be?
Yeah, really difficult. They're like a lot of teams, even like us. Lost 2 or 3 really good players in the summer. They lost both fullbacks who've gone higher. Obviously, Nathaniel George as well going to York. So they've lost big players, and they've had a lot of injuries again, a lot of suspensions recently as well. So they've been a bit mix and match recently, but they've picked up some really good results still. It's always a tough place to go, as we know. I watched our game back from their place last season, and we made it difficult for ourselves more than anything. So obviously we'll reiterate that to the players in the next day before the game. So, but one we're looking forward to. Like I said, we need to put a run of performances together, and if we do that and get consistency within our team selection and our squad, we'll pick up points, and hopefully we back up the result on Tuesday.
And how have some of the lads fared from Tuesday's game? Obviously, Connor Wilkinson, Marcel Oakley looking like they picked up knocks. How are they looking?
Yeah. Obviously, Connor come off injured, Marcel come off injured, Michael hasn't trained. Obviously, likes of Jack Stevens only trained a day before, like Jamie Osborne obviously only trained a day before that. So we've tried to monitor them really closely the last couple of days. And then we'll leave it to that very last minute to make sure they're fit and raring to go. Like I said, it's great to kind of have these players back. Now we need to make sure they stay fit, they stay in and around training, they stay in and around obviously the games. We've got a big period coming up, like we said, so we're going to need everybody. It's good to see Tunnicliffe back on the grass. Hopefully he's not too far away. Lab's back on the grass. Morgan Owen, who's been pretty long term, been back on the grass as well. Unfortunately, Tavs is still a while away, unfortunately, but it's good to have those kind of 3 players nearing a return, maybe 2, maybe obviously next week or the week after, especially Tunney and Labs, which is a massive bonus for us. So I think, like I said earlier, that gives us a massive lift. What I've said all season, when we get everyone fit, we get our squad back together, we'll be a force for anyone. Unfortunately, that's not happened too many occurrences this season, but at the minute most are back, so hopefully we can build on the performances, the result the other night, keep everyone fit, and like I said, we'll have a right go, and I'm sure we'll see consistency from that.
Andy.